So today we're going to recap book 1. So within the burning, our narrator is a girl named Nora Good. Remember that last name, Good. Because the book opens with the fire that burnt down the Fear Mansion. And you know the Fear family is notorious. You know, it's in the early 1900s and the lone survivor is Nora Good. Our girl right here clutching the pendant that was given to her by Daniel Fear. So the Goods and the Fear, they be crossing. And then pretty much we go into a flashback of Nora telling the tale of how the Good family and the Fear family have had this war going on for centuries. On some like Capulets and Montague type shit. So the year is 1692. And we all know the bullshit that was happening in the 1690s with the Salem witch trials. Which is such a crazy concept. They worrying about witches and curses and shit like that. But yet the Puritans are the ones who are going around killing people. If that ain't the pot calling the kettle black, but hey, we're not talking about the witch trials right now. So we enter into this village called Wickham Village, and Susan Good is in love with a dude named Edward Fear. We gonna call him Eddie. And he's like the son of like the town leader, like a magistrate. But when Eddie's father, Benjamin, finds out that he's in love with Susan Good, he's like, oh, we can't have this. And since he's a man of power, you know, he frames her and her mama of what? The worst crime you could do at that time, witchcraft. So Benjamin, the magistrate, gets his brother to run the trial. So pretty much a corrupt judge, kind of like the ones we got today. And long story short, they're like, bitch, you up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. And see, like we know with the trials, other settlements just hung witches. But in this one, Wickham Village, they're like, bitch, we burning y'all hoes extra crispy. And Benjamin Fear, he's very adamant. He's like, no, Susan Good, you're going up to the stake, and so is your mammy. And Susan's daddy is trying to save his daughter and wife because that's gonna take his whole family out. And he's like, I need to make a deal with Matthew Fear, who was in charge of the trial. Matthew has the Fear family pendant on, the one you see down here that Nora Good, who's our narrator, is wearing in the future, because she's narrating in the 1900s. We're right now in the 1690s. And Matthew's like, oh yeah, ho, we can drop the charges if you pay me. And Susan's dad is named William, so he pays them everything because he's like, I will give you everything in trade for my daughter and wife's life, because this is all I got. And the next day, once he gives them everything, he sees that his wife and daughter's charges are dropped. So you think everything is cool, fine, and copacetic. And the Fear family, after they got his money, they looted the whole Wickham Village that they were in and left town. So you know the Fears ain't shit. So now since everybody in that town got by the Fears and they dipped overnight and everybody got their platoons in a knot, the warden is like, bitch, since we pissed off Susan Good and your mama, bitch, y'all still gonna be burned. Even though the charges were dropped. But since the Fear family who charged them originally left, the warden can do what he wants. And now Susan and the mother is killed and they go up in flame. Like on some Adele shit, like set fire to the rain type shit. Now William lost half of his family and it's just him and his infant son George. However, this is where the plot twist happens. So now that he's alone and like distraught because he just lost half of his family and he's left here with this infant son in puritanical New England, he opens up the secret compartment in his cottage. Bitch, guess what? This hoe is a witch. The gag is his family was innocent. He even kept this secret from his family. So they really didn't know. And the thing is, the people who got accused, like in real life, weren't actually witches. And in that moment, he casts a curse on the entire Fear family. And he's like, just to make some sprinkles on top, I'ma track these hoes down. So now we're gonna fast forward 18 years. Remember, this is New England in the 16 to 1700s. We don't got GPS. So 18 years later, he tracks these hoes down. And they're in like a frontier of like Western Pennsylvania. Eddie Fear has married Rebecca, who is extremely unhappy because he ain't shit. They have a 5-year-old boy named Ezra. And of course, Benjamin is aging because this is 18 years later. And he was on bullshit way back then, as y'all remember, because he got the shit all kicked off. But he's still the head of the estate. Matthew Fear married a lady named Constance, and now they have a teenage daughter, and everything seems cool, calm, and copacetic on this Fear family farm until Willie then tracked they ass down. And side note, Matthew and Constance's daughter is named Mary. So the first bad thing that happens is Eddie, he falls off the roof and he breaks his arm. And when Eddie breaks his arm and can't do his shit around the farm as he's supposed to, a dashing young mysterious man named Jeremy appears and offers to help them. You know, kind of just looking for work to support him and his mother. So then Mary, who is Matthew and Constance's daughter, falls in love with Jeremy head over heels. She's like, I want to see you by the chum bucket. She's like, pretty much, I got some butter for you to churn. So they start having a hot, passionate, like secret teenage affair. And then Mary and Eddie, has a vision, and they see a fire in the woods, and in the fire they see Susan. And Eddie used to be involved with Susan Good before his bitch-ass daddy Benjamin got her set up with her and her mama. Madness and paranoia descends upon the house, and all hell breaks loose. Well, Rebecca, Eddie's wife, hangs herself. And then later on, Benjamin is found crucified. So then after the funerals and all that shit dies down, George Good, who was the infant son left with William Good, the wit, he appears and he tells the fears that his father put a curse on him, and that the only way to lift the curse is for him to marry Mary, pretty much. So Mary and Eddie confront Matthew about what he did to the Good family, because that shit was bogus as hell, and he confesses everything, and he gives them a blessing for the marriage, which is the least thing you can do. And then that night, they invite Jeremy over for dinner. So that night, when they invite Jeremy over for dinner, the pendant down there that Matthew's wearing, he uses it to try to make Jeremy's head explode, because he's been having an odd feeling about Jeremy. Girl, and guess what the pendant reveals? That it is William Good in a glamour magic to make him look young and sexy. So you know how he's been making out with Mary, the teenage daughter of Matthew and Constance? That was old-ass William Good. He said, bitch, I'm playing the long game, and I'm taking everybody out. I don't care how creepy it is possible. Matthew then, with the pendant, kills William Good. And I'm like, he's a witch. And side note, if he was a witch, why couldn't he save his daughter and wife? That's just the logic of these Fear Street books, I know. But after using the curse from the pendant to kill William, Matthew loses himself in a fit of laughter that he cannot stop. Pretty much, he goes insane. Always trying to sound Shakespearean. So Eddie, Mary, and Ezra, they escape the house because he's going crazy, and Constance is begging Matthew to regain his consciousness, but it ain't gonna work, or his sanity, I mean. Now let's fast forward another 15 years. These time jumps be crazy. So now a now grown up Ezra, because remember back then Ezra was only 5 years old. He's the son of Edward Fear and Rebecca. And remember, Rebecca's the one who hung herself in front of her kid after they seen that vision of Susan Good in the fire. So Ezra returns 15 years later, grown up now, to the Fear family farm. Ooh, all them F's. His father has pretty much worked himself to death. His Aunt Mary drowned in a lake. They tell us this, they don't show it. And there's not a penny to their name, and that's what they get for all them ill-gotten goods. But in the old farm, his ancestral home, he finds Matthew and Constance's skeleton walled off in the study, and from Matthew's journal, it revealed he found out pretty much buried themselves in the study to hide from the curse that they knew was coming for that ass. And he killed Constance when she tried to escape, even though she was the only one there that was trying to bring him back to sanity when he was going into his laughing fits. Ezra takes the Fear family pendant, and he vows revenge on the Goods. So now all hell's about to break loose.